Peaches and me, we spent the entire weekend together. Had a boatload of fun. But on Sunday night, she was telling me how excited she was to go back to work. And I looked at her and I go, why's that?
'Cause I need a vacation.
From what? You could say from who? You mean from who?
Yeah.
Hey, Bob. After thorough research and investigation, I find this humor to be both invigorating and refreshing. Welcome to Math Comedy Briefs.
I met a guy today. His name was Ronald Heck. And you know how you can read people right off the bat? Well, I knew that this guy didn't cuss. Do I got your name right? And he said, heck yeah! He told me that his family was from Nevada and he lived real close to Hoover Darn. Another clue was he told me that his dad was a horse farmer and he had just a ton of horses with hundreds of stalls. And as a boy, he spent his summers shoveling out all the horse chute. He also told me his dad was a pastor of a local church. You know, he was one of them heck, fire, and brimstone preachers.
Yeah. I don't know.
This weekend, Buddy asked me whether or not I believe in them miracles. Well, I looked at him and I said, you bet I do. Sometimes things happen and you cannot explain why. How about you, Peaches? You believe in them miracles?
You bet I do. We're still married, right?
I don't normally do requests, but one day at work, one of my coworkers, Michaela, she was feeling kind of down. She asked me to tell her a joke, and so I told her this joke, and she just loved it. And she said, you know what? You need to put that on Matt's Comedy Briefs. So this one's for you, Michaela. There was this big ocean liner going across the Pacific Ocean. It was just huge, full of people, and of course, it hit a storm. And all was lost, except for 3 guys on a lifeboat. You know, one of those rubber lifeboats? The first guy, he was from France. Second guy was from Ireland. And third guy, he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. He's from Toadsuck, Arkansas. So they're floating across the Pacific Ocean just aimlessly for a week. And they didn't have any water, no food, and just that hot sun was bearing down on them, just bleak. It was looking like there was no chance of rescue. So after that 7 days, the Irishman, he was looking around and he saw this bottle bobbing up and down in the waves. So they were exhausted, pretty weak after 7 days, but they all leaned over the side of that rubber lifeboat and they started paddling, trying to get to that bottle. Then the Irishman, he reached out and grabbed it. So they all pulled themselves back into the lifeboat and they were looking at that bottle and it looked really old and it was amber and they were they were just hoping it was something they could drink. And so the Irishman, he's looking at it, and the Frenchman, he doesn't have any patience at all. He goes, "Give me that." So the Frenchman, he has the bottle and he pops the cork. And all of a sudden there's this huge cloud of smoke. Just, they couldn't see anything. So they wait for that cloud of smoke to clear. And they couldn't believe it. But floating there in front of them was one of these big genies. Oh my gosh, it's a real genie. And he's floating there like this. And they're amazed. And he says, "Behold, I am the genie of the lamp. For releasing me from my confinement, I will grant each of you just one wish." Okay, so right off the bat, you're all wondering, what's the deal? This is the genie of the lamp, and he's in a bottle. Well, lamps are real leaky, so he traded in that lamp for a watertight bottle. So, back to the story. That genie, he's floating there, looking at these guys, and the Frenchman, he's first. He goes, "Oui, oui, oui. Les bien, les bien. Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup. There is, how do you say, le café petit in Paris. With all of my, how do you say, copains, my friends. Send me at once." He's gone. And those two guys that are left, they're looking, he's gone. He vanished. They couldn't believe it. Well, the genie, he's floating there and he's going, okay. So the Irishman, he sits back and folds his arms, looks at that genie, and he goes, "Aye, this entire trip has gone arseways. You're a sleeving lad, but I'll give you a crack. I thirst for a pint of bitters and a sack of potatoes. Now, send me on a piss, and be quick, to my favorite pub in Dingle." The guy disappears, and there's just one guy left from Toadsuck, Arkansas. And that guy goes, "Shazam! Those guys are gone." And the genie, he's sitting there like this, floating, looking at him, and he goes, "Well, what is it? Tell me your wish." And that guy, he looks around and goes, "Golly, it's gonna be awful lonesome tonight. Can you bring him back?" So ring that jingle-lada and punch that button to subscribe. Now I gotta go clean up after them horses so I can bring you more of that shovel-ready repartee. Bye! Oh, I forgot to tell you that this guy called me the other day from Taylor Tree Service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to cut down the silver maple, and I used to use Taylor Tree Service a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember that? No. Anyway, this guy called me, and it's a lot bigger than it used to be, and this guy called me, his name is Joe Hoke, and he wants to meet us on Saturday morning. Are you available Saturday morning?
Yes.
Yeah? Well, I'm going to call him back. So it'll be, if you're not busy, it'll be me, Joe Hoke, and you on Saturday morning.
Okay.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Because usually you exercise on Saturday morning, but that'll be all right? Is that okay? Me, Joe Hoke, and you on Saturday morning?
I guess so. I don't know.
Because sometimes it bothers me, Joe Hoke, and you on Saturday morning.
Me, Joe, and you. I guess so.
He said if you didn't want to meet, he'd meet with anybody. In that case, it'd be me, Joe Hoke, and anybody on Saturday morning.
Is there some kind of, what's the Joe Hoke thing? Joe Hoke.
Me, Joe Hoke, and you.
It's a joke.
That's right. You know, if I keep telling these, pretty soon it'll be me, Joe and nobody. Ever.
Okay.
You like it when... You like it me joking you, don't you?
Yeah.
Alright. What do you think of that, Banjo? Oh my gosh, it's a real genie. Can't believe it. Okay, turn it on.